Okay, morning from Bozeman, Montana. Hey, just wanted to give you a quick walk around of my 2023 Trail 125 and show you some of the modifications I've done. This is what I call my bumper bike. I carry this on a bumper hitch on my truck. Helps me get into some of the roads that are a little bit too narrow for my full-size pickup. So it's been a blast so far, and I'm planning on putting it through the rigors this summer. So just kind of show you how I've got it set up and some of the mods I've done, and open to any questions if you want to leave them in the comments. So I'll start on the front here. So I replaced both the front and back tire with the same size Golden Boy trail tire, SR 244 in the 3.0 by 17, and they've been a great tire so far. I haven't put a lot of miles on them. You can tell, get out of the sun here, you can tell that the clearance on the tires is pretty close. So want to watch for mud buildup and some of that kind of stuff that could be an issue, but I don't plan on riding in a bunch of those kind of conditions anyway. I try to stay off the trails if they're real muddy, just for the health of the trail. Up front here, I did do a spring modification. Came from the dealer with a little bit too little shock fluid in it, so I brought that up to 5.5 inches, and then put on the Chimera preload bolts up front. Seem to make a little bit of a difference, makes it ride a little bit sturdier up front. Also had an issue when I was putting it on the bumper rack. I try to tighten it down pretty good so it doesn't move back there, and it was fully compressing the shock. So this helps it ride a little bit stabler on the when it's strapped down. Also, you can notice that I put a front rack on the fender, and it's pretty cool. I keep a little bag on there with my, that's where I keep my extra tube and pump and that kind of stuff, and stuff I don't care about getting muddy or wet. But you notice that I had to cut this bar off on there because the wiring mount, I raised the horn up. I just flipped it over and raised it up because it was touching the fender when it was strapped down or when I hit a big bump. But this wiring loom wasn't able to move much, and it was hitting this top rack right here, and so I just cut that portion off. Doesn't seem like it does anything to the rack, but it allows for that wiring harness to have a little bit more travel in there. Also put on some fog lights. I've got some nicer ones ordered from Baja Designs. They've got the S3 model that's a really bright, really nice light, but they haven't come yet, and so I'm still riding these cheaper ones up front here. But I mounted those on a ram mount with the short arm and the 1-inch ball. Everything on here is the ram mounts with the 1-inch ball. It's a size B ball from Ram Mount. But what this allows me to do is aim those lights really easily by just loosening all that stuff up. I can aim them out to the side if I want to, or if I'm camping, I can put them, exactly where I need the light, and run them off that. So it seems like it's a pretty good option. And those are just mounted right onto the headlight rack. They are really solid. They don't move or shake or anything at all. So it seems like that's a pretty good system. The wiring for the switch for those lights is right there in the empty socket, and just flips on and off in a waterproof switch. It is not hooked up to the ignition, so it will run those lights even when the bike is off, which would be bad if you're parking on the street or something. I don't really do that, so I'm not too worried about the battery getting worn down by someone flipping that switch. So that's kind of the setup up there. Got a mole bag that fits on here just perfect, and it's really tight on there. With the crossbars, I was able to put the mole straps in there. Keep my rain jacket and some little odds and ends up there. And then up here I've got a mount for my Garmin InReach, and then this mount is for different accessories. I've got it set up so it'll put my GoPro on there. The GoPro is a little shaky when it's mounted to the bike on real rough roads. It works okay on the street, but on real four-wheel drive or single track, just put it on my body or on my helmet. And then it's got the Ram X mount up here for my cell phone with the tether, so that keeps the cell phone on there really good and tight and easy to read for navigation, that type of stuff. And then I've got a handlebar stiffener up front there when I hit real hard or something like that, and it seems to help with the vibration a little bit, but probably not entirely necessary. And then I just got an old G-Shock mounted, just wrapped around with a piece of foam on the handlebars, so I can keep a running track of my time and that kind of stuff. And then up front here on the mid rack, I've got a Pelican R20 ruck case, and it's just mounted on 1/2 inch mounts there, and then drilled through on the box itself. And I keep my garage door opener and my wallet and that kind of stuff in there. Keeps it nice and waterproof and kind of out of the way. I can still step through the carrier, which is nice. And then I've got bear spray mounted up here. That's just a mountain bike bear spray mount that I put on the rack with just some cable or some tubing. Well, I don't know what those things are called, but anyway, it rides it real sturdy in there. Where I ride in Montana, especially where I'm fishing, there are grizzly bears and that type of stuff, so I try to keep bear spray on me and real easy to get to all the time. Got the exhaust guard here, which is nice. Keeps it's a reminder not to touch that exhaust, but also kind of keeps it if I laid it over or that kind of stuff. And then on the Pelican box, and I'll get into that in just a second, but I've got a 3D printed water bottle mount for this Yeti 26 ounce water bottle. That mount is, I got it off of Etsy, and it was made for the roll bars on a Jeep. So it had a rounded back to it, and pop that out, and you can see I just cut that flat and mounted it through the box with a backing plate. But it holds the bottle really steady. And then this green color that Yeti has doesn't exactly match, but it's pretty cool. They were doing a Valentine's Day free engraving, and so I put little Trail 110, Trail 125 line drawing on there, and then just my contact information in case it ever gets ripped off or falls off. But it holds it in there real tight. I mean, it's not going anywhere. On the back of the box for my back, I just 3M with some really strong 3M tape. I mounted a cutout piece off a knee pad. Made sure and got the soft one. I tried with the hard knee pads, and it was just uncomfortable on my back. This one is really nice. Feels really good on my back, and just kind of gives me a place to get my seating position lined up every time right, and feel good. And then the box itself, I'll go around here. The box itself is a Pelican 1507, and this is their Airlight case, so it doesn't add a lot of weight. It isn't super, you can tell I can flex it. It's not super strong, but for what I'm doing with it, it works really well. It's waterproof and locks and all that kind of stuff. Got some Monkey Grip mounts on here. That's where I keep my fly rod, and they work really well, and just mounted in the box. Up top, got some kayak footman's loops that I can put different size straps on and that kind of stuff if I wanted to keep, you know, wet tarp or you know, stuff I don't want in the box, an extra, you know, sweatshirt or coat or raincoat or whatever up there. I'll get into a different video that how I keep the box, what I keep in the boxes, and that type of stuff. So moving to the back, I've got a Blackburn mountain cage mounted through the box, and I keep a 1 liter gas bottle in there, and that holds it really good. I could keep it without the bag, but I like the bag so that I don't have to strap the bottle itself down. It slides in there pretty easy, and then I roll top the thing. And then if I wanted to keep something else in there, I can just you know, leave the fuel bottle at home and put a water bottle or anything else in there. On the back here, I've got all the full plastic light guards that just go on there with double-sided tape that you can get on eBay or on Amazon or anywhere like that. Not necessarily worrying about those being a whole lot of protection, but just in case they get scratched or something. With its LED lights, they're kind of expensive to replace the lenses, so if I lay it over or something like that, at least I'm just replacing the cheap covers instead of the whole light. And then on the license plate itself, I've got a really rigid backing plate on there. Every motorcycle I've ever had, that's the first thing I do is bend the license plate and rip it off. So that keeps it a little bit more rigid. Coming around to the side, I've got the pannier mount on here that allows for the tool case to stay in its original place. It just mounts between the mount for the pannier. And then on there I've got the Pelican 1170 case. And the nice thing about this case is it's really solid. It's meant for really hard use, and so it holds up, and if I laid it down, it'd survive just fine. But the other nice thing is, and you'll see some things fall out, but it stops at 90 degrees, so I can lay it out like that and have all my stuff in there and really not worry about it. With both of the boxes, and I've got a plane coming over my head right now, I'm sorry about that. With both of the boxes, I've got them fully lined with self-adhesive Velcro, and I'm sorry for the camera angle on that. So I can mount different accessories inside the box and they stay put, don't rattle or shake or anything like that. And then I made a custom mount with some aluminum angle on the side of the box, and just mounted a mountain bike water bottle cage. This is a Polar water bottle, so it's an insulated water bottle, but that makes it really easy to grab a quick drink when you're on the trail, and it stays out of the way and rides really nice. Doesn't seem to get very dirty either, just because of the placement. Usually my legs are catching the mud or whatever, so it keeps your water bottle clean to the most extent. And then I've got the battery tender pigtail on there. Really nice placement. I can see the battery level at any given time, but it allows me to hook up that battery tender really easily in the garage. Also, I've got the battery tender quick mount USB charger that just plugs into this, and then I can charge whatever equipment I need to on the trail, which is nice kind of backup to have for your cell phone and that type of stuff. And then coming back over to this side, I did try to buy the folding gear levers and brake, but I'm still waiting for those to come in from Japan. The side stand, I ordered a couple of hockey pucks off of Amazon, and you can see where I've drilled through. The side stand on the 2023s and up is a little bit wider foot, a little bit bigger footprint, which is nice, but it makes it real easy to just drill through those. And then what I'll do is cut out that hockey puck to the same shape, and then just put a couple of screws and anchor that in there. Because when you put the new tires, and you can see this is sitting on the center stand, both tires, center stand works really well still, but both tires are touching the ground because of the extra height that the tires added, and so it makes this kickstand really pretty too short. So hopefully adding that little inch and an inch, I think it's 1.1 inches in width for that hockey puck will be nice to keep the side stand still working well. So I think that's it. Got everything covered. The other thing I did add is under the seat there's an air tag, so I can kind of keep an eye on it when it's out in the hotel parking lot on my rack or whatever. I just kind of know what's going on with it. And then I did raise the rear shocks up to the last preload, just to give it, it doesn't really give it any more height, but it gives it a little bit more stiffness for the extra weight that it's carrying. And then I'm about 195, so it rides pretty decent with that on that last preload. So yeah, that's the bike. I don't know that there's anything else I can mention about it, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone had any. I know that trying to find the right diameter of mounts for the lights and other thing was a real hassle for me, but the smallest size of the ram mount, they come with some plastic or rubber interior, so you can make that even smaller. But just without any of the plastic or anything, I found that those smallest size ram mounts work really well, and they are super sturdy. Again, that's the B size ball that I'm using on those, and then the short arms. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments or want to see anything else, happy to chat via instant message or shoot me an email or whatever, or enter it in the comments and I'll try to get back. And till next time, next video I'm going to try to do, I'll try to do a separate one on the bumper carrier that's set up for this. And then also I've got a cover that works really well with it, even with the box on the back, and wasn't too expensive. So I'll show you that at a different time. And there you go.